Just drive. I wanna be the only one to make it to the line. I'll take it to the edge where I live 1,000 lives. But maybe I could be the one right into the setting sun tonight.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brett Keenan here from TKA Broadcasting. Bringing you the Canadian Grand Prix qualifying and the race. So we decided that we're not going to be doing the practice sessions anymore because, as it stands, it's pretty much the same thing time and time again. So we're not going to be showing the practice sessions. They do get done, but from here on out, it's just going to be qualifying and the race. So we're here at the Canadian Grand Prix of Montreal in the McLaren Honda on the ultra soft tyres. We came out of a pretty, well, let's just say the Monaco Grand Prix was so horrifically bad that I did not want to broadcast it to the world. So, either way, we came out of a pretty good race in Spain where we managed to win in the rain and go back-to-back victories. So here we are now after the Monaco Grand Prix, which I'll just lay it on you guys. I ended up crashing out in lap 3, so wasn't worth editing for, so we're just skipping straight to the Canadian Grand Prix, and here we are now attempting to tackle on the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve and see what kind of pace we have on the ultra soft tyre. As it stands, the car is pretty good at this point of time, so it's hard to say that the competitiveness was there or not. I felt as though the car was pretty competitive. But either way, coming to the Wall of Champions, bunny hopping across the corner, give the wall a bit of a clip. Got, surprisingly, I think we had no damage from that, so we pretty much pressed on from that point. So we do a 115.8 on that, and we did get the damage, so we ended up advancing to the race at that point. So, I have to apologise if I find a little bit of delay in the recording. It's almost been about a month since I recorded this race, so I'm a little behind in the field of getting everything sorted out. I have been really crook over the last couple of weeks, so it's taken me about this long just to feel confident enough to be able to commentate this and not feel crook and all clogged up. So I do still feel a little bit, but I'm starting to think that's like commentator's curse or whatnot. But either way, we'll go straight into the race, and we'll leave it up to Crofty and Anthony Davidson to give us a rundown on the track. So head away, boys.
There is, as I look out of my commentary box window, a very large and very excited crowd here today, eagerly anticipating another memorable race. Lewis Hamilton took his maiden win on this circuit in 2007. Jenson Button came from last place to win here in 2011. And there's certainly no shortage of drama on offer here at the Canadian Grand Prix. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. It's a favourite for fans and drivers alike then here in Canada. We're used to seeing the unexpected happen here, and with me today to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who knows firsthand the surprises that can pop up in this race.
I do indeed. I had a good chance at some points here in 2007, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. My old colleague Takuma Sato, though, he managed to finish 6th, so the team took home 3 valuable points, and that was a big boost to everyone at the time. I'm not sure I can think of anywhere else that so consistently provides the kind of late race excitement we get here. Obviously, towards the end of the Grand Prix, the brakes are getting worn, maybe the weather situation has changed, so there's a lot to keep fighting for all the way up to that final corner.
Okay, we've had a bit of bad luck so far this season, so we really need to show the team what you can do.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Rosberg, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Raikkonen, Sainz, Kvyat, a McLaren, and Roman Grosjean. Gutierrez, Nasser, Sebastian Vettel, and Massa, Ericsson, Hulkenberg, Sergio Perez, and Rio Haryanto, Palmer and Alonso, Pascal Wehrlein, and Kevin Magnussen rounds off the grid. And now it's time to...
I really like how pretty much my engineer tells me I've had a pretty bad season, considering I've had 3 race wins already and a handful of podiums. So anyway, the lights are about to go out for Canadian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and we get off to a beautiful start from P9 on the grid. We easily get around Danny Kvyat, go around the outside of Carlos Sainz Jr. and then stick to the rear of Kimi Raikkonen. But as you can see, we give Raikkonen a bit of a love tap, which actually helps Carlos Sainz push along the outside of us. We manage to hold out and filter back into 7th position. Bottas gets a bit of a bad run coming through there, and then somehow clips Raikkonen, and it also put them off, so it ultimately gave us 2 more positions. So we're up to P5 already. Max Verstappen lost out to the start to Nico Rosberg, so Rosberg leads from Verstappen, then it's Hamilton, then Ricciardo. We're in P5 ahead of Raikkonen, heading through the fastnesses into the tight hairpin bend. We're feeling pretty confident. The car felt really good on the ultra softs at the start of the race, but they did kind of fall away near the end. So as you can see, we have a committed dive up the inside of Ricciardo. He keeps his position quite sound, and we do lose a bit of ground to Raikkonen. So it's hard to say that the first lap, we made up quite a few positions. Here comes Raikkonen around the outside of us. Sorry, my nasals started to play up again. So we dive back up the inside at the Wall of Champions. Very dodgy place to overtake, and you can see what kind of effect it has. So Verstappen ultimately got back ahead of Rosberg at that point of the race. So we cut now to lap 3, where you can see Ricciardo and Verstappen having to go. So the 2 Mercedes get past the 2 Red Bulls, and we get past the 2 Red Bulls quite effortlessly. So the car was really good. So we're up to P3, a pretty substandard position for us in this season so far. But yeah, the pace on the car was really good. We were just keeping it with the big boys. We haven't really shown any race so far. We've been off the pace. So we now cut to lap 5, where the scheduled pit stops come in. You can see Hamilton now jumping onto the soft tyres. We kind of held him up in the process, which probably didn't help his case too much. So in we come, dive into the pits, and it is a longer stop because we get held up by Hamilton, and then we lose out to Bottas as well. So that really compromised position for us, and it was a bit of a disappointing showcase because we lost a few positions as a result. We just come out behind the 2 Renaults, and then you can see Bottas got a bit held up by Palmer, so we used the incentive to dive up the inside. Of course, then Bottas tries to turn in on us and causes us both to go off the track, lose a bit of ground. So cutting back to lap 7 now, and then you can see Danny Kvyat's jumped us in the pit stop, so his overcut's paid off. We've lost so much ground in this, and I was just sitting there going, where the hell have we lost so much ground from? Because, you know, we were potentially fighting for a 3rd place, you know, a podium, and then all of a sudden, all these guys have suddenly jumped us. So it just goes to show that the overcut seemed to have paid off more than the undercut. Because you can see Verstappen a bit further up the road too, so he's jumped us in the process. I think there must have been the contact between me and Bottas must have really compromised our position, but here's where it gets fun. So we go up the inside of Kvyat, up the inside of Palmer, fancy ourselves up the inside of Magnussen. Don't quite pull that one off, but you know, a double overtake, you can't take that too lightly, but a triple, that would have been something shocking. But you can see we got the DRS on the Renault, and you can see even with the DRS, that Renault is quick. So, excuse me, it's hard to fathom the power of the Renault engine, but either way, we're now on the back of Verstappen, chasing him down for P11, well P10, but at this point now it's P8. But it was, and then you see we give Verstappen a bit of a kiss up the arse, and then, you know, we didn't get too much, I don't think we got any damage from it, so it didn't really hurt us too much. And so we just keep chasing Verstappen through the circuit. And you can see the rear started to slide out a bit, even though the tyre degradation in the Canadian circuit isn't that great. It's still quite slippery offline and all that kind of stuff. So chasing Verstappen was a bit of a challenge in itself, and you can see we're doing a roughly a full lap circuit because I guess we do evidently get past Verstappen. You can see we're right on the back of him. For those guys wanting to know though where the McLaren Honda stood in the rankings of the R&D development side, we were actually 4th, so we were ahead of Red Bull in the development side of things. So you can see like that, you could just you can see that we were able to push on and get past Verstappen. The surprising bit about this, and you guys will be a bit surprised by this too, the third best car in the category, well, the third best car here, as you can see, we just clipped the wall of champions and damaged the other side of the wings. I don't know how that works. The third fastest car was actually Toro Rosso, so you can see that kind of quite evidently by the fact that Sainz is ahead of the Red Bull. But yeah, you can see here by this point, this is by the time that the pit lane reshuffle was all in effect, and yeah, we were just in 8th place where we were fighting for 3rd. So there's Alonso, our teammate. He's on a different strategy, but you can see Alonso braked so early that I had to veer off the track and lost a lot of ground. So we got passed by sorry, we got passed by Verstappen again. You got Danny Kvyat behind us. I lose a bit of ground and then go off the circuit here, and I think no, it's not here. Oh yeah, we give the wall clip, and then yeah, we get sideswiped by Kvyat. He gets spun around, and yeah, that was Kvyat pretty much out of the race, and we lost so much ground. But it did bring out the virtual safety car, so it didn't really damage it too much. It just meant we lost a fair bit of ground to the other drivers, and of course I had the front wing damage. Excuse me. I keep talking myself up that I'm better for this, but then it just, when it comes down to it, I just get all nasally again. So anyway, we are cut now to the final lap. We're on P9. Grosjean's ahead of us. Kvyat is behind us. He got reset to the track now. I had a 3-second time penalty, so I had to think of something here. So I cut in the corner. Kvyat gets completely sideswiped again. Only this time, Alonso, who's on the ultra soft tyres, does the Stephen Bradbury. And then you can see all these guys getting out of the race. Kvyat's out of the race. Ricciardo's out of the race. Rio Haryanto's out of the race. You know, the list went on a bit further because you can see that I did make a huge mistake here. And then, yeah, so you can see we pan out, and then you can see Sergio Perez is out of the race. Pascal Wehrlein is out of the race. So 17 cars pretty much out of the race. And then you can see we cut here because I did make a ballsy mistake here. And it hit the wall of champions and retired. So I did a flashback. And so either way, we're going to finish the race in P9. Pretty disappointing, our worst finish in the point. So, considering we started 9th, finishing 9th isn't all that bad. But we were fighting in the podium at one point. So, who knows?
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So there you have it, guys. Nico Rosberg wins the Canadian Grand Prix from Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Raikkonen. We finish in 9th, and Fernando Alonso helps us score double points for the McLaren Honda team, which keeps us 3rd in the Constructors table, and we still hold down 3rd in the Drivers title. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time for the next exciting episode of the TKA Broadcasting Formula 1 season.